Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Off the Cuff with Cliff. I'm the host of today's show. I want you to meet my co-host, Sheba. Sheba, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Cliff.
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm doing well. What brings you here today?
Well, I would love to have a conversation with you on this gorgeous day that feels more like fall.
Wow. Well, thanks for agreeing to do this. We don't know where it's going to take us, but we're here today. So what do you think we should be talking about today?
Well, I think it's imperative to talk about how we met.
Okay.
Cliff is my business coach, and I'm a small business owner, and I was what do I want to say?
Go ahead, you can say it.
I thought I didn't need to network, and I didn't need a business coach, and meeting you has really changed the trajectory of my business, and personally as well.
Well, thank you for that. So, and again, this is off the cuff, so say what you want. It doesn't matter. There's going to be some surprises. I wouldn't use too many curse words because if we put it on YouTube, it'll cut us out. So tell us about your business.
I own a professional organizing business called Shore Simplicity.
Okay.
And
why do you call it Shore Simplicity?
Shore Simplicity because the beach exudes calm and peace for me.
Okay.
I'm a native to this area, and life needs to be simplistic. And I think in the end,
life needs to be simplistic.
I think that's what we're all chasing. I think we're chasing simplicity. We live in a very fast-paced world.
Wow. Simplistic. Shore Simplicity. Okay. So that's the name.
Mm-hmm. So we offer professional organizing for homes and businesses. We work with realtors, and we offer a multitude of services that pretty much help people in several phases of life.
So you and I talked one time. I do a lot of coaching with people who self-sabotage, and we talked about clutter. Talk about clutter and how it affects your mind.
I am a strong believer that clutter is a reflection of what's going on in here.
Okay.
Your physical surroundings are absolutely the visual that is inside. So, especially home or if you're walking into your office, you should feel a sense of calm. You should feel a sense of order and focus. But if you walk into a cluttered environment, it's going to completely throw you off track.
Okay. So I learned a long time ago, I'm very, very sloppy. If you ask my wife, she'll attest to this. And if you saw my office, I just have piles of paper all over the place. And if you look at the desktop on my computer, I got pictures from 10 years ago. I don't know why they're still on my desktop. And I always learned when I was younger, and maybe it's a myth, but organization just means you can find what you need when you need it.
Right. So what you're explaining is organized chaos, right?
Okay.
But you're still organized.
But I love chaos.
Right. You thrive off chaos.
Right.
I know you well enough to know that now. But it's still organized chaos.
Right.
Because you can find everything.
Right.
The problem is when clutter makes you lose sight of what you have.
Okay.
Life is about inventory, whether it be digital inventory or physical inventory.
Inventory. That's a good way. Inventory.
So if you lose inventory,
okay,
you're wasting time, which is priceless,
right,
and money looking for things you don't have,
okay,
and or wasting time and money on now reacquiring or purchasing things that you have, but you have no idea you have them.
Do you know how many times I bought something knowing I already had it, and if I'm at the store, I'll buy another one,
right,
and another one? Do you know how many little calculators I have? When I owned restaurants, every time I went someplace, I would get a calculator. I'm going to show my age now. There used to be a company called Radio Shack.
I remember Radio Shack.
And you went into Radio Shack, and the calculators were these great big things. Now there's these little tiny things you can do almost anything with it. I think if I looked, I could probably still find an old Radio Shack calculator. I'm sure it's somewhere. I just couldn't find it and bought something else. Big numbers. So who's your best client?
My best client. I mean, it's hard to say because we have services that pretty much cover everyone. I would say the main clientele that we get a call from general public are busy moms.
Okay.
They're juggling the mental load of motherhood. Some are juggling work outside of home or just the work of being a mom.
Right.
And
do you think it's harder for a mom or a dad? I just had this discussion with my wife and Mitzi the other day.
Do I think life is harder for a mom?
Yeah. Do you think it's tougher? It's tough. A mom's life is tougher or a dad's job is tougher?
I don't want to get that.
Okay.
You're going to get me in trouble. I mean, I do think there are always exceptions to the rule, right? And there are some stay-at-home dads, right, where moms are working out of the home. But I do think overall, our society, moms carry more of the mental load, which is invisible.
Okay.
You know, this time of year, for example, a lot of moms can relate. Like, it took me 30 minutes to fill out all my kids' school forms.
Okay.
You know, my husband doesn't even know what the portal is for the school. I don't think he's ever looked at a report card.
Okay.
You know, today they're going to get their classes, and I'm going to get bombarded with, oh, somebody's not in my class, or
Sure.
you know, I had to schedule 3 haircuts and 3 dentist appointments.
You don't cut their hair?
I don't.
It's just a number 2.
3 physicals.
Okay.
Make sure my one kid's allergy forms are in and his EpiPen is to date. These are not things my
Yeah,
husband
that's
thinks
endless.
about.
That's endless. Yeah.
You know, but it's invisible. So to your spouse and to the outside world, nobody sees that.
Right.
It's not like a pile of laundry sitting and staring at you in the face.
Okay.
But it's all this stuff that has to get done.
Okay. And do you think because of all of that extra stuff that a dad or a husband male doesn't know, do you think that adds to the pressure of a mom and why she needs help, your help?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. And time is the number one reason why families call us. Because, let's face it, today, people's weekends are busier than their weekdays.
True.
Between their kids'
True.
sports and social engagements. And do you really want to spend 30 waking hours on a Saturday and Sunday organizing your basement?
Right.
If you even have it.
Right.
But moms get overwhelmed and things go to the wayside. And, you know, a lot of times when I go and do an estimate, a mom, they'll apologize. And I say, why are you apologizing?
Oh, because of the condition of the house?
Yeah. And I say, why do you apologize?
How's your house? Is your house cluttered?
I have spaces that are cluttered. I'll
Okay.
tell you, my garage is one.
Okay.
Because I give up. My
Okay.
husband and kids just
Okay.
won't, I do it and then they undo it and I'm done redoing it. And believe it or not, my inventory room for sure simplicity is a disaster right now.
But there's an old saying, right? So if you wanted to see how your house shouldn't be, go to a carpenter's home. Because there are so many started projects that aren't finished yet. They can come and they can do a masterpiece. Something
Yes.
could be absolutely beautiful. And then you go to their house and they're like, why is this picnic table crooked? Why is this? Why is that? So people have a tendency, I believe, to do things at their best for other people than they do for themselves.
Yes. And, you know, listen, life is every day we prioritize things, right? And it changes day to day. I just had a conversation with a mother this morning. She apologized for the condition of her basement that I was estimating. And I said, first of all, you're prioritizing being a mother first, then a wife, then a daughter. I said, the basement should be low on your priority list
Right.
in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But at the same token, it's a source of stress for her and she is not finding things she needs. So she called us to get it done. But at the same token, you know, I also said to her, you know, it's never anything to be ashamed of to ask for help because the truth is that we only have so much energy
Right.
in our tanks. We only have so many hours in a day. And the reason why we can get her basement done in X amount of hours is my 15-year-old's not coming down and saying there's nothing to eat in the house.
Okay.
And my daughter's not saying she needs a ride to Sephora when I do her basement. Now, if I try and do my inventory room, I guarantee I'm going to get interrupted dozens of times.
Sure. Wow, that's an interesting way to look at it. So moms are somebody, do dads use your service?
We get a lot of dads because dads want that space. You know, they always say like, my wife has the whole house. You know, I want my garage or I want a man cave.
They want their man cave,
They
sure.
want their space.
Right.
You know, they want a space to work out, space to have guys over. So dads call us and, you know, then of course we have realtors that call us a lot too.
Okay. Yeah, realtors, I'm sure they can use your service, right? And
Yeah.
you do packing, unpacking, you do all that type of stuff I
We
saw on the
do
website?
packing and unpacking. We do decluttering and staging. We help the realtors get the house ready for photography and showings. And then, you know, we even do senior transition and full estate clear outs.
And that's got to be hard too, right? Because I think in one of our conversations you said that, you know, especially when people get older, they hold on to everything because it's all they have, right? And it brings memories. And so you or I can look at an old book or an old clock or something and just think it's trash, but it's really not trash because there's a lot of memories tied to that.
Right.
And how do you deal with that?
You know, it's when you deal with an older client, you're dealing with the client and their family too.
Okay.
Because the family's saying, like, Mom, it's trash. We haven't
Right.
but to Mom, that's the memory. And if you get rid of it, in her mind, you're getting rid of the memory.
Okay.
So it's our job as a team to convince that person that, the memory still lives.
Right.
But go to this next phase lighter. Take
Okay.
that burden off of you. It's not going to erase the memory. And the biggest factor that helps us to help seniors transition is the fact that we donate as much as we possibly can.
Okay.
So when we let them know that this item that brought you so much joy, you keep the memory and then hand the item over, and it's going to find
Interesting.
through life to someone who truly needs it, deserves
Okay.
it, and will appreciate it.
Wow, that's an interesting. So people don't feel like they're throwing it into the garbage, right? Because
Correct.
everybody, when you look at something, you say, "Hey, I paid $20 for that. I'm not going to throw it in the garbage." Well, it was $20 20 years ago,
Right.
but you still want to hold on to it because you still think there's some sort of value to it.
Right.
So how do you pick and choose where the donations go?
We now have relationships with over 24 local charitable organizations, and I personally have relationships with dozens and dozens of social workers and liaisons, and they actually put me in touch with the families.
Okay.
I also have some regular families that I contact from time to time. Yesterday we did a clear out and probably had over 30 families come.
Wow.
And
to
organizations.
pick up somebody else's donation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, when people make a donation like that, do they get a receipt of some sort?
They always get receipts.
Receipts.
Yep, for their tax purposes, and they know exactly where the items are going to, what homes, and that's really important to show our customers what their generosity is doing.
Okay. So we talked about families and stuff. Do you do anything with businesses, commercial spaces, stuff like that?
Businesses are some of my favorite spaces because businesses are constantly changing.
Okay.
You have multiple employees in a business that are, using the stock room, using the office, and, time is of the essence at work. So you don't put things back where they need to go.
Right,
And,
right.
you also have people coming in and out and turnover of employees. So businesses do really well having everything organized and then using us for a maintenance plan.
Okay.
So that we can just kind of go in and keep it refreshed.
So how do people actually use you as a maintenance plan? Do you have a subscription?
We have quite a few maintenance customers, and we offer a subscription plan at a pretty discounted rate.
Okay. Do you ever wind up in a situation where you go to somebody's house and you have to go into a child's room and do something in a child's room? What's their reaction?
I'll always talk to the parent. We'll always talk to the parents before and say, what do you think is going to be the reaction? And if we feel that the child's going to be a little upset about it, I'll actually come back to the house and sit down and have a little interview with the child.
Do you ever include the child in what do you want, what don't you want, why do you want? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll tell them to draw me a picture and, have their mom send it to me. And the same goes for adults. It's their space. So you have to empower your clients to set up their home the way they want. And then it's our job to then make suggestions and say, okay, I hear what you're saying. What about this?
Right.
Because it has to work for them. Not every there's several organizational styles. So not every style and system works for everyone.
Okay, that makes sense.
Men tend to be the
Blame the men.
out of sight, out of mind type.
Absolutely.
So when we organize the side of the closet that belongs to the male in the house, we tend to use closed off bins with a label so that he doesn't have to fold the shirt, but he can.
We don't fold, we roll.
Right. You roll it, you bunch it up, you ball it, you throw it, but it's in there and it's organized.
Right. I know where it is.
You know where it is, right? Doesn't matter if it looks pretty in there. It's there, it's clean, and it's away, and they can find it.
Right.
Whereas a lot of the females say, I want it to look pretty.
Right.
So now theirs is set up differently. I mean, sometimes we do master closets, and there's two completely different organizational systems in the same closet, but because this works for her and this works for him.
So how do you prioritize that?
I mean, I think the key is just communicating with your clients and hearing them.
By color, by style, or depends on the client?
Clothing is done by both. So did you learn Roy G. Biv in elementary school?
I have no idea who that is.
See, you don't know who that is.
Who's Roy G. Biv? I know the Dewey Decimal System, which doesn't exist anymore.
I've had a few friends that have the same reaction. They're like, what the heck are you talking about? Roy G. Biv is the color wheel, so you call it red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Really?
It's so funny that you didn't learn this.
I've never learned that.
It's fascinating to me. It seems like most people educated in New York did not learn it, and New Jersey people did learn it. So we will organize by the style of the clothing.
Okay.
So we'll keep all sweat sweaters together. We'll keep all hoodies together. We'll keep
What's that got to do
dresses
with
together.
what's that got to do with
And
your system?
then we will subcategorize by color. So everything has a range.
So is it the color of the chart you just described, or is it in an
Yes.
alphabetical order?
No, it's in that order.
It's
red,
in
orange,
that
yellow,
order.
green, blue, indigo, violet. And then after violet, we go,
Are you making this up?
no, I'm not. And then after violet, we go, beige to brown to white to gray to black.
So that's not part of that chart thing. That's like the alphabet, right? A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T,
Well, their
U, V,
colors.
W, X, Y, Z, sometimes Y and W.
Their colors.
Do you know Y and W is in the alphabet?
Do I know Y and W? Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We don't organize food, rainbow. I find that really interesting.
So how do you organize food?
I mean, food is different. Food is practicality, categorize. But when you go on Instagram, they open these refrigerators.
Oh, yeah.
And they have all the red here.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, that annoys me. This is not real life.
Yeah.
What am I going to go and buy more red stuff and orange stuff because I have
Just
too
wanna
much
make
blue
it-
and green? I mean,
yeah.
it's just silly. But clothing, yes. And the reason why, it sounds silly. And it's not just for aesthetic. Yes, does it look beautiful to have the clothing arranged that way? But my kids have had their closets arranged like that for years. And, for example, this time of
Your
year.
kids know that A, B, C, D, E, F,
They
G?
do.
Yes.
They do. For twofold reasons. One, like my son, we just took out all the clothes he outgrew, and we hung up all his t-shirts for the upcoming school year. And he was looking at them, and I actually said, "You don't have any orange in here." And he was like, "Mom, I don't need orange." But if he wanted orange, we know that he has no orange, but he has so many navy.
And you'd know exactly where to hang it.
And you know exactly where to hang it. So it's kind of dummy proof too. So it's a twofold benefit because
Okay.
when the laundry comes out, he can stick the navy in between the red and the yellow, but it'll look odd.
Okay.
And subconsciously he's going to stick it.
And when he sticks it in the wrong place, do you go and correct it for him?
No, because he sticks it in the right place because it's after so many years, it annoys him to have it out of order.
So you've programmed your son to this system that I've never heard of.
I don't even think I programmed him. I think having that system kind of programs you because, listen, everyone loves pretty things.
Okay.
Inherently, I think we do. So when a system is in place and the easier it is to maintain, you're going to default to what looks nicer.
Right.
And what brings you that calm feeling.
Right.
So even a 10-year-old is going to stick that brown shirt next to the red and go, it's just going to move it. Plus, there's a hanger there.
What other strange things do you want to tell me about?
What other strange things do we do? I mean, I am so lucky because my team and I all have the same idiosyncrasies when it comes to organizing, and we can really do it with our eyes closed. And we really love what we do. So,
And that helps.
the passion is shown in our work.
And that's important.
And we really love all of our customers. We really care about them. We take pride in the job we do, and we treat it like it was our own home, while also taking into account the way they need it done for themselves.
Right. That's wonderful. So how does somebody get a hold of you?
Our website, shoresimplicity.com. We have an inquiry form. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Our phone number, Google.
Okay.
We rank very high on our Google search.
Very good.
So we're available 24 hours a day, free estimates.
Okay. So if you want to learn about the color chart, and you want to know where to hang your shirt, and you want to know how to clean up a messy desk, give Sheba a call because Sheba can help you, and she's going to declutter your mind, and she's going to make your life a lot more simple. Is that right?
That's very right. Professional organizing for stress-free results.
Thanks for coming.